Commander Legends previews start next week, and we have been digging through all of the cards in Commander because we wanted to answer the question, what cards in Commander are most in need of a reprint?
Today we're going to talk about some staples, and obviously not all of these cards do we expect to pop up in the set, but it would be nice if that one or two or maybe even three of them were to show up. The video starts right this moment. Now. In this second. Right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
For a limited time only, if you join the Patreon at any level, you will receive a holographic Jake and Joel Are Magic logo sticker. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are going to talk about the cards that we think need a reprint in Commander Legends. But first, if you would, do us a favor, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like the video by the end of it. We're trying to hit 10K subs by the end of the year, and that click will really help us get there.
It's the best way to support the channel with just the click of a button. Let's go ahead and talk about these cards, and spoilers, there will be tutors.
Oh yeah, let's swing over to them real fast.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, you can see here, we started with Assassin's Trophy. Jake, let me set up a little bit what the criteria was for us finding these cards. What we did was we cross-referenced EDH Rec with MTG stocks. We went and found the most played cards on EDH Rec across many decks. These cards that we're going to go over tonight appear in 14 to 39% of eligible decks that they could be in, and we're talking about tens of thousands of decks that these cards are appearing in. So these are as close to staples or clearly staples as you can get with some MTG cards. After that, we cross-referenced those numbers with MTG stocks to see which ones were, you know, $10 or higher, $15 or higher, and had the propensity to just continue growing based on how good they are and how we probably may not see a reprint of them for some time unless it is a Commander focused set. So that was kind of our criteria for choosing them.
Yep, some of these cards are going to be humble in price, and some of them are going to be very expensive due to scarcity. You will see by the end of the video. Make sure to stick around. Yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about these cards. Assassin's Trophy, just absolute heat, removal, versatility.
Yeah. 2 mana, instant speed, destroys any permanent, gives them only a basic land, which in EDH, fine, go get your basic land.
Sometimes people aren't even going to have basics. I know that sounds ridiculous, but there are some EDH decks that run so few basics that this card will oftentimes result in a fail to find.
Yeah, this was a card that was just recently printed within the last year, within the last 2 years, I guess, at this point almost. But it is a premium removal spell. It's already up into the $10 plus range. This set has rotated out of standard, so that...
This has gone into a dual deck as well, or not a dual deck, but one of those secondary products. It's a very strong, very, very strong card.
Yeah, it really is, and it could use a reprint before that price starts to slowly creep up and up as people want the premium removal for their decks. Jake, next up is Smothering Tithe. Look at the graph on this card.
Oh, dude, I remember buying a pre-release foil Smothering Tithe for $3.95 as soon as those hit the market. And I just knew this card was going to be explosive. I only got my one copy for EDH, but I did know it would be popular. I did not know how popular it would be. It is ramp, it is advantage, it is absolute must answer, and it's an enchantment. And if you know about Jake and Joel Are Magic, you know that we love enchantments because they are sticky, they're difficult to get removed. Yeah, this is one of those cards like Rustic Study that just, ooh, man.
Yeah,
it's arguable that it's stronger than Rustic Study. I mean, it is just such a powerful card. Gives you so much advantage.
It's yet another card printed within the last year or two that almost automatically becomes an EDH staple. And if these cards aren't reprinted in a timely manner on a regular basis, these are the kind of cards that you'll wake up one day and there'll be a $50 card almost out of nowhere.
Yeah,
because
like, you have
everybody
to think about
wants
this.
it.
This card came out of a standard set of very modern recent set, this is already the price on it.
Yeah.
It's that explosive that a rare that's printed in 2019 is this explosive in price. I mean, it's just very impressive to me. Normally you can see this with a mythic, but when it's a modern rare, dude,
That's it.
It's
right.
very strong. Yeah,
it's crazy. It is one of 3 cards that were printed in the last 2 or 3 years that we're going to go over, and we see this more and more. We didn't include any of the free spells, quote unquote free spells from the Ikoria boxes, because those were just printed, like literally just printed. Those absolutely fall into this category of, now that Wizards is designing specifically for Commander, they are going to decide and design format staples, and those cards, if they are going to continue to push the power level of Commander staple cards, they need to keep up with reprints on these cards, or like Smothering Tithe, less than a year later, we're already up into the $20 range. And again, like Assassin's Trophy, this card is not in standard anymore. This price is 100% driven by Commander. And so these are the kinds of cards that we need to see. Other staples are going to be tutors. Jake alluded to it early on in the video. Mystical Tudor, it was just reprinted in Eternal Masters back in 2016. We've got a price tag of around $20. This is, like I said, a card that is highly played across a lot of decks.
Yep, a very strong card. Any card that's a 1-mana tutor, I mean, it's just, when you have a format like CEDH that values mana efficient spells, versatility, I mean, this card is grabbing combo pieces. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the recent spikes on staples, cheap staples like these tutors, I would attribute to CEDH. We're going to see that with a lot of powerful spells that are cheap.
The cheap
so
ones,
like the bigger cards that are going into casual EDH decks aren't going to have these high of spikes like these cards are. It is just, it's kind of like obvious at this point, but if you are new to the game, you do need to know this. If you're able to tutor something up at instant speed for 1 mana, it is likely going to be very, very, very good.
Absolutely. Anything really that you can do for 1 mana that is impactful. That's why we've got cards like Swan Song. They're not hugely widely played in casual EDH, but it is a CEDH staple because it is 1 mana interaction, and that's it.
Yep,
and
that's
so
right.
These kind of 1-cost spells are going to be Cyclonic Rift. Sorry, I freaked myself out and almost returned myself to all of my opponent's hands. Those 1-mana spells are going to be held at a premium, especially if they are impactful. Jake, we just saw a reprint of Cyclonic Rift, but I wanted to include it in this list because of this trend right here. Right here, we got up into the $40 range on this card before we saw a Double Masters reprint of it. And this is the kind of card that is not slowing down. This is one, over the last 2 years on EDH Rex data, this is one of the top 10 most played cards. Up there with like Soul Ring, up there with like Swords to Plowshares. That's what I'm talking about. This card has got to be reprinted. Honestly, as much as possible. Keep printing the cool versions of it, the extended art
showcase. This is essentially
showcase.
the oh shit button of EDH.
Exactly.
This is the card that's
has
just
to be
like,
in people's
well,
hands.
we have got out of hand. It is time to reset things. Let's see if we can mitigate some of the damage. You know, oftentimes, you know, it takes a long time to get all of the permanents set up in a game of EDH.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to bounce all of those for 7 mana, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest surprises, Jake, when we were going through these cards was Finale of Devastation. Finale of Devastation is on the last year of most played cards, pretty right in the middle of the pack as far as percentage played. And this card was just printed in 2019. This is a $22 mythic that was... It is the third one I was alluding to when we were talking about Smothering Tithe. It's the third card that was printed in the last 2 years that seems to be becoming an EDH staple right before our eyes.
Again, it's another very strong tutor. And the fact that you in EDH can have all of these infinite combos and all of this, you know, extra mana to sink into a huge sorcery like this. Yeah, I guess, hindsight is 2020. When I first saw the card, I kind of shrugged at it, but it is powerful, and I have seen it do crazy degenerate things.
Absolutely. It got some play in Standard, but again, like Assassin's Trophy, like Smothering Tide, this card is rotated out of Standard now, and so this price is 100% driven by Commander. Here's another Commander staple. This one has only been reprinted in Arsenal, Commander's Arsenal, and Conspiracy. We've got a $22 price tag on the Judgment version. The Conspiracy card is a little bit more expensive in the Arsenal one, being that foil, being that, I guess, premium, whatever foiling they used on that product. But this card has just continued to climb and climb and climb. For 5 mana, we've got an enchantment, so it already fulfills it's probably better rule for you. It's an anthem for all creatures that you control, not just a specific type, and it's tapping any lands for mana double. It's a 5 mana house, and this is a card that is going to need to be reprinted, or else you're just going to see the graph continue to trend upward and upward.
Yeah, it's a very strong card. It's one of those cards that you really want to counter it. You really want to answer it if it does resolve. Yeah, I mean, anything that's going to double mana, anything that's going to, give all of your tokens. I mean, it's just, it's very strong.
Yeah, it does a lot that those colors, really any EDH deck definitely want. Here's, this card is infamous at this point. Rustic Study. Do you pay the 1? This card just saw a reprint in Jumpstart. However, look, Jake, I don't think that really did anything to the price of this card.
Sure, and it was also a mystery booster, which did even less to the price, honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
Jumpstart did. It's one of those cards that will need meaningful reprint, like a significant meaningful reprint, and it's a great target for one of these new extended art foil treatments. There have been some spoilers and some leaks. We're not going to talk about them in this video. I will put those videos in the cards if you want to go check those out, as far as Commander Legends leaks of some cards that have come out. But yeah, this would be an excellent target. It was printed, the original foil printing of this card at this point in Prophecy is just like $150 card. That same foil, but obviously not the same quality, was printed in a Commander's Arsenal, which also holds a hefty price tag. Yeah. But now also this card will have new art moving forward as well. So there has been a Judge foil Rustic Study. Maybe we will see that art on this card moving forward. And then, it's man, like Joel said, it's an infamous card, and it does need a meaningful reprint because it is in every deck that plays blue. If you are playing blue in EDH and you're not playing Rustic Study, I don't know, maybe it's like a weird kind of janky build that you're using.
There's also another reason that this is a huge reprint target, if not for this set, then for a future one probably within the next year, and that is Wizards distancing themselves from the artist. Nielsen and Bradley, they have both separated from working with the company, and so as you go through and look at any cards that you think might be a reprint target, that those artists' body of work as far as MTG is concerned, any of those cards that were typically just that artist had covered them, like Rustic Study before we got the Judge promo, or any of Bradley's work, look at those cards that only have their artwork as the main choice to be reprint targets within the next year or two, especially in sets like this. They're going to want to, they've already very publicly distanced themselves from those artists. They're going to want to do that in the game as well to give players options, which is very important if you're making the choices that you've made as a company to separate from those artists. You need to give the players choices so that they don't have to play with this version of the card if they don't want to. And so cards like Rustic Study, Force of Will, these kind of cards are very high targets for reprints over the next year or two. That's pretty speculative from my part, but I would not be surprised, I'll say, if that came to
when
fruition.
we get a Secret Lair Force of Will $100 secret layer. It only
Yeah.
comes with force of will,
Exactly.
and 50% of it goes to charity.
Right, something like that. I could absolutely 100% see that happening, and that's why I think that Rustic Study is due for a reprint. Not only the price, but also the controversy surrounding the artist. We've got Demonic Tudor as well, Jake. We talked about there were going to be tutors.
I love this art. I love the art on this one.
I think this is my favorite art. I mean, you can't beat going back to the OG. I mean, this is the revised edition version, everyone. This you can get for between $30 and $40. So if you don't mind having the white border,
I like that one.
Yeah, exactly. You can.
I mean, obviously the OG's alpha, but I mean,
Sure.
Nobody's got an alpha demonic hanging.
Well, yeah, we're not. I mean, look at the prices on some of these cards here. You've got up to thousands of dollars, $784. This card on the low, you're going to be able to obtain it for between $30 and $40. This is my favorite art personally.
You might even find it as low as like $25 if it's a busted copy. Make sure if you're here, some of these prices are going to be a little higher, but make sure to check TCG Player and eBay for moderately played copies, heavily played copies. You can find these for cheaper than what you see here, but this is, like Joel said, just a fantastic card. It's a staple in black. It tutors up the card that's going to help you win the game, hopefully, if you built the deck right. This card should be grabbing you what you need. Are you behind on a land? Go grab a land. Make sure that you're not going to get mana screwed moving forward. Do you need that combo piece that's going to end the game? Go grab that as well. It puts the card into your hand, unlike some of the other popular tutors, so you're able to just, if you have the mana, go grab it, cast the spell that you need to cast. I love the card.
Yeah.
You know that I do.
Oh, absolutely. Jake, I want to go back to Cyclonic Rift. I was talking about this dip right here and how I didn't think that it was going to hold. Look at Demonic Tudor. That dip on Cyclonic Rift is this dip right here, in my opinion, for Demonic Tudor. We've got a $50 card where it was dipping all the way down into the $20 range, and then slowly over time, based on it just being a house of a card, it will go up and up and up unless it is
just
reprinted.
So you know, Mystery Boosters is in here as well. But the thing is it in Mystery Boosters, it wasn't a huge impactful reprint. It was a very, very rare card to open up.
Right.
So, yeah, it's one of those cards that just, I mean, it's essentially you're removing variance in your deck. You're doing your best to make your strategy as concise as possible. You're building a lot of redundancy, and this is one of those cards that helps with redundancy. Some people are like, why do you run the tutor? Why don't you just run the card that you need? Well, because the tutor is going to ensure that, for 2 mana, I can go guarantee that I can at least have a shot, unless this card gets countered, at finding that card 100%.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, in EDH, you really have to think about that.
Here's another instant speed 1 mana. Search your library for an artifact or enchantment. Put the card on top of the library. Instant speed, doing it at the end of the opponent's turn. That happens right before your turn. I mean, yet again, Jake, look, there was speculation that this one was up for a reprint in some of these reprint sets. Didn't really happen. And now we're up into the $40 range for this card. And this is the white border version. We've got Eternal Masters, I think, was the last significant reprint of it. And this is even higher, $40, $50 card, higher foil.
It's got the black border, and
exactly.
The foil of it is really nice.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just one of those that, and I'm not saying every EDH card needs to cost $1, but for these cards that are format staples, that's what I'm talking about.
What a set.
It would be...
Eternal Masters had Vampiric, Enlightened, Mystical.
Yep. Speaking of Vampiric Tutor, Vampiric Tutor was the next one. Look at this Eternal Masters Mythic, Jake. Over $100 for Vampiric Tutor. Instant speed.
I wish I bought one of these foil at $100 when the set first came out.
Well, man. I mean, Jake, look at this. The card itself was down under $30 for almost a full year.
I remember.
It has just climbed and climbed and climbed.
This is CEDH. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
We talk about this. It's one of these highly efficient mana cost tutors. Instant speed, like Joel said, do it at your opponent's EOT. Make sure that the next card coming up is exactly what you want right before you draw it.
Right.
It's It's a fantastic card. For the loss of 2 life, 1 black mana, I mean, I can't think of a way that you could make it better without making it absolutely busted.
Yeah.
Make it Phyrexian mana, I guess.
It's just one of those cards
so
that is a format staple. It's over $100. It's out of a bunch of people's price range. It would be nice for a meaningful reprint to come through so that people now buying in this year of Commander, what better time to get the staples of the format into players' hands? Because, at least with my experience with Commander playgroups, you only need 1 copy. Proxy the copies for the rest of your decks if you have it across multiple decks. Yeah. I don't think I've ever met a Commander player that's not cool with that. And
if you play a sanctioned tournament, make sure all of the cards in your deck are authentic.
That's it.
You just take them out of all of the decks. If they're all scattered around, put them into one focused deck. Make sure you own all those copies, and then you're good to go. Let's talk about the big, most speculated, highly anticipated, most likely to do exactly what Imperial Recruiter did, most likely to do what Grim Tudor did. Another highly efficient tutor, this card, except this time it puts the card on top of your library, not at instant speed. But again, 1 black mana, tutor up a card.
This is a card
one
that
printing ever.
It's driven exactly.
And a judge printing.
We've got the judge promo, and we've got the Portal 3 Kingdoms printing. This is a card exactly like Jake said, Imperial Recruiter style. It's a solid card. It's not earth-shattering. Honestly, when you look at this card, we included this card because of the speculation around it. That is why we included this card in this video. This card in and of itself doesn't appear in nearly as many decks as the other 10 that we've gone through. The tutors,
scarcity.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. There are multiple reasons for that, the biggest of which is scarcity. Obviously, if you have 1 slot left in your deck, you need a 1 mana black tutor. You're picking Vampiric Tutor. You're not including Imperial Seal over Vampiric Tutor. However, if you need 2, or you just want it further CEDH'd out so that you are reducing your variance to as little as possible to go and find your combo pieces and win, Imperial Seal is going to be a part of that plan. And at over $600 right now, this card is not obtainable by some of the best dolphins in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now let's talk about certain ways where this card can be just absolutely great. You have a Sensei's Divining Top on the field, so immediately you tutor up the card you need, tap top, get the card.
Right.
Now you're ready to go. So it is very, very strong, but that sorcery speed does weaken it significantly, in my opinion. Just the fact that your opponent could get you with any kind of spell that mills off the top of your library, any kind of interaction like that, and it doesn't even matter what you tutored up. But again, very scarce card. If you think this card isn't going to drop in price, if it gets a reprint, look at Grim Tutor, look at Imperial Recruiter. Look at those reprints that pop up. Leave them in the comments if there are others that you're thinking of. I know that there are others that I'm not thinking of, but it happens a lot. So as we move on and Wizards, starts to analyze the equity that they have in these old cards that aren't reserve list, expect big targets like this to start to pop up. If we continue to dodge an Imperial Seal reprint, I would be very, very surprised. I see it coming soon, and I don't think I'll be surprised if I see it in Commander Legends, and it's going to have that new full art, extended showcase treatment. There's no telling what it's going to be like. There's these new etched foils that are coming out in Commander Legends. There's a lot of surprises that we haven't even seen yet, and I think this could be one of the cards.
Those are the Commander cards that we think are most in need of a reprint currently, and we think Commander Legends would be a great place for them. Let's close the book. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Like I said, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can help us towards our 2020 goal of hitting 10K subs by hitting that subscribe button down there, and we would appreciate it greatly. Other than that, let us know in the comments what cards you think need to be reprinted in Commander Legends. We know there have been a lot of leaks around this set, but previews begin next Monday, and I think there's still time left to speculate on what we might see in, honestly, one of the most hyped sets that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, we're getting collector boosters, but this time it's in a Commander-centric set. It's going to be this new, oh man, this etched foiling. It's going to be scratch and sniff. It smells like strawberries and pepper, if I remember correctly.
Well, some of them do. They all have different scents, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yep, I'm excited about the scratch and sniff thing too. If you want to support us further, Patreon link is down in the description below. You know what it is. Go check it out and see if you're a good fit. Other than that, tapped out. We'll catch you later.
We'll see you later, Warehouse.